to a show.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Off the Mats Podcast. And this week on the podcast, I'm actually going to have a guest on that I've been wanting to have on for a while. People have been telling me from the gym to have on for a while, but then I've also been told, okay, you need a buffer for this person. You might need someone to sit with you. And I was like, man, I ain't scared. So that's okay, because I've been training with this dude for, I don't know, what year are we in? 25 right now?
I think I started in 18.
So, really?
18. Huh. Summer of 18.
Okay, that seems right, because yep. I started 15 and then really got going in 16. Okay, so we've been training for the better part of a decade. So, for the podcast today, my guest, I want to welcome Coach Brandon Epps. Are you still coaching? Well,
yeah,
you coaching me?
Yeah, I do a lot of side coaching, yes.
See,
whenever they need me.
So we got you. Coach Brandon. What's up, Coach? How you doing? And welcome to the podcast, man.
Yeah, thanks. Finally excited to be here. This is my first one, so hopefully I don't do anything crazy.
I don't imagine that would be the case. This is a pretty free-flowing pod where it's not very strict. I've had guests come on. It's like, I'm an expert at this. And they start talking. I'm like, I'm not an expert, but I can tell you you're not an expert.
Yeah, I'm definitely not an expert in anything, so...
I also try not to have quote-unquote experts of anything because, I don't know. Well, not that podcast.
By whose standards, right?
Yeah. It was like, well, so it's like there are times where I might have someone, I'm like, well, you know more than me. So I'm going to have you come on and explain. But there's also just people that, like, I'm all carnivore and I can tell you all about it. And then it's like, that sounds like you're probably going to have a heart attack the way you're like, so let's not do that. But... that's all right. We're here to have fun. We're here to have a good time and learn your jiu-jitsu story, because when we started training, well, actually before, your kids were training. Mm-hmm. I remember, you being over there in the parent section, and then I remember when you started getting onto the mats and training.
Yeah, because I started back in 2007, I think. Yeah. I barely even remember. I just was in the Navy. I was either a senior lieutenant, junior grade, or a junior lieutenant. And my E7 chief was like, hey, sir, would you like to choke me out? Well, you say that to an officer, and you're like, oh, man, I'd love to choke my chief out. Oh, my God. He's like, well, the trick is I also get to choke you out. And I was like, well, that's a fair trade. So he drugged me off. This is back in New Orleans before Katrina.
Okay.
And he drugged me to this little black belt from Brazil. He started up a school. There was like 6 of us, 6 white belts just trying to kill each other with no idea what we were doing. And then that kind of grew, and then Katrina hit, and that wiped him out. He went off to Vegas or LA. I don't know what happened to him. And then it was, back in the 2000s, in the mid 2000s, there was not much jiu-jitsu going on. So we had a club where a blue belt was teaching us some stuff, and then that happened for a bit. And then, from there, I moved to Chicago. I was in the Navy. And then I was learning from a purple belt up there, and that was an hour drive almost just to learn from a purple belt. And then after I moved from there, I did deployments. It's just been a big off and on since 2007, 2008, and I hadn't trained in like 5 years. And when I retired from the Navy finally, back in 17, really January 1st, 2018, that whole spring, I was having a rough day, some rough days at work. I mean, it was just nightmarish. I mean, I almost took like a 2-hour commute to another job. It was that bad. And then work settled out, moved into an area I kind of excelled at. And then, I was just like, what am I doing? I'm just kind of sitting here. I might as well start training. And started training. And before I knew it, Coach Keith was just like, pointed straight at me and said, you need to go do this tournament. And that was about 10 months after I started training, and I haven't stopped since.
I didn't know it was that soon into like training there.
Yeah, it was like 9 months because I'd done all this training before, but I made blue belt in about 9.5 months once I started training, and I got my blue belt off the Washington, D.C. Open. I think it was the 19 in 2019. Yeah. It was like May or something like that fall or that spring open.
Because I got blue.
You got just before me.
Yeah, right before you. I thought it was so much closer.
It was like a
though.
couple of weeks before me, I think.
No, it was January.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I felt like you were like right. Like, as soon as I got mine in January, I felt like you were like.
It's very possible. Maybe that it might have been in February. I'd have to look back at the dates. I'm not entirely sure. It seems like so long. I've done so many tournaments since then.
Yeah, there's such a blur in that window of time from like 2019, then like then COVID hit, and everything gets really fuzzy.
It's all a blur to me because during COVID, we ran secret classes up at Elkridge.
Yeah.
And we were training 6 days a week, 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, competition style classes. Yeah. So it's all a big blur to me.
Like during that period, I think I remember Ronnie, was kind of coming on like right before then, and then Mark started training, and it's like Mark and I would go up to Severna Park.
Yep.
And just train, just drill and just do anything trying to stay on the mats. And then one day he came back and was just like throwing me all over the place. I was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, where are you? It's like, oh yeah, we like been training over at Elkridge. I was like, the fuck?
Yeah, it was because of the whole COVID situation. Master Julius and Coach Keith were a little paranoid about who they were bringing in. They didn't want to have any, I don't know what the right word is. I don't want to be politically incorrect, but people that would
germs.
It wasn't even necessarily germs. It was more about people telling on people. They didn't want to bring the wrong person in, and then they would go run to, whoever and say, they're training. So they really wanted to bring in the right people that didn't really care about COVID, weren't scared of it, and didn't really buy the line. And those pretty much are the people that showed up there.
I always find it weird with that ideal of, if you're training and you're enjoying it, you're having a good time, like why snitch? And
Exactly.
maybe it's a matter of like they're excited, perhaps.
And it's hilarious because no one there caught COVID, and my wife didn't train there; she caught it twice. It made no sense to me.
I got COVID after it all kind of. I went to a Ravens game, and they had these goofy rules at the stadium. Right? It's like you walk into the stadium, everything's open, but it says once you get to your seat, you have to have a mask on.
I never understood that. Was the same thing in restaurants. As you were walking through the restaurant, you had to have a mask on, but if you sat down, you could take it off.
So yeah, it's like you had to have the mask on if you went to get food and if you went to the bathroom. But once you get to your seat, mask off. And I remember I recorded with a friend on Saturday night. He texted me on Tuesday, and I was already feeling a little funky. Anyway, he texted me on Tuesday. He was like, hey, just a heads up, I was exposed to somebody with COVID, you might want to be careful. So I knew that I'd been to the football game. I'm blaming it on the game.
Of course.
But I fucked with him for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I told my other buddy who came to record Sunday night with me, I text him, just like, Steve, you got to go get tested. And he's
like you're passing STDs around.
and he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I caught it. And he's like, what? It's like, dude, I fucking got COVID, all right? Just go get it. But he didn't get COVID at the game. He didn't get COVID here. But it's just weird because, like, everyone was taking all the precautions and everything, end up getting sick. And it's like, folks are just like, look, just be healthy and fucking do what you're doing.
Yeah, I think, I'm not going to say if it was overblown or not. I just know I kind of did what I wanted, and either I caught it and didn't have any symptoms, or I never caught it.
Yeah.
So, it worked out for me. Luckily, no one in my family's only my wife has caught it. And the first time she caught it, she quarantined to the bedroom. Second time she caught it, she quarantined herself to the couch in the living room. And then the third time, she pretty much didn't at all. And the rest of the family turned out just fine.
Yeah. When I got it, I told my wife, I was like, because the basement, I was like, I will gladly go to the basement.
This is your world down here.
I got my figures down here. I got comics. I got TV. I got video games. It was like, no. Like, you've been up here the whole time.
No, I'm fine.
The rooms are like a mess. Just stay in the room. We will stay downstairs. Like, no. It's fine. I'll clean up. I want to go to the basement. Yeah. I got a bathroom down here. I got a fridge. It's okay. I'll be safe. And then I suspect I had it a second time, but I was just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna I got shit to do. I'm gonna go to work.
So COVID was great training opportunity, and then it just kind of grew from there, honestly. And then, the tournaments, you start with the locals, and then you're like, well, okay, let's go try pans, and then you start flying through the belts like I did. I've got a really lucky job. That it doesn't take me long. The things I do, I can do in a tenth the time that most other people do, and it's nothing exciting. It's just PowerPoints, and I've just been doing them a long time with my time in the Navy. So it allows me to train a lot, and I think just most of the people that I train at when you get to about 50, people are they're running their businesses. They're kind of still grinding through life, and I just don't think they can put in the hours that I can to train. And which gives me a huge level up on them as I come into these tournaments. And so I've been able to dominate really well, except for Masters Worlds last year. And, at brown belt, what am I, 22 odd and 3 at at majors. And, I don't know, it's been lucky for me. I haven't had any injuries, knock on wood. And the teammates have all been really good. I don't think anyone wins or loses or does anything without an exemplary casual team that is pushing you to the next level.
Yeah, that's something I always find really special about what we have over at 88 is that it is a legitimate team atmosphere. And that's not to say other gyms don't have that, but it's like if you go to a tournament and you struggle with one specific position, we come back, let's work on that. Let's work on that.
Well, there's guys at our gym that they specialize in some. There's a lasso guy there. Yeah. There's a close guard guy there. CH has his high ground and his funky little things that he does. Yeah. And they are all, even the casuals, they're all interested in getting better. Like there are very few people that show up to 88 and just want to go through the motions. Yeah. Those guys usually go on to other gyms.
Well, that's something that I think about when we drill on Sundays, right? It's like I'm a casual, I'm a hobbyist. I'm there, I want to get better, but I'm also like, I want to go to the level of competing and just grinding like that. But it's still I want to be better than who I am. Number one, but number two, me getting better helps you.
Yep,
it helps the next person.
Very much.
That's the atmosphere that we have, where it's like, you don't have anyone that's there just kind of just there and can't help in some capacity. Everyone's able to help someone else in some way, shape, or form because we're growing off of each other. And I think that's fucking awesome what we have.
Yeah, I've been, I've been in a lot of gyms in a lot of states and a lot of cities. San Diego, Chicago, New Orleans, and I've never been at a place where I've been able to show up 5 to 7 times a week for the last, how long is 18 now? Was that 7 years?
7, yeah.
So for the last 7 years, 5 to 6, 7 times a week, and I'm still not burnt out. I have my, I think I'm just going to take a break and take it easy. But I don't know if it's the students, I don't know if it's the atmosphere, but for some reason I click with 88 and I've never gotten bored in it.
Yeah. Well, I think we mix it up a lot, though.
I also train at 3 different schools, too, and I think that helps, too. It's the same coaches, but the students are all different. And I'm constantly meeting different people between Elkridge, OM, and SP. And, I just think it's really been, just being 50 and still being able to move and compete. I didn't want to be that guy that could barely move. And I was definitely on my way there in 18 when I started. And so I'm glad I found it again.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like I remember you back in 2018 and then seeing you now. And it's like
I'm vastly different.
It's a world of difference.
Yeah, dude. I had some health going on, and then I just got my health checked out, and and I got on, a better diet, and start hitting the gym, and you do jiu-jitsu, and Coach Keith will tell you he didn't want to lift weights, and he didn't want to run. I still don't run, but I lift weights now, and.
Sounds like you have to.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to compete,
especially if you're competing,
yeah. It just, you don't have to, but it just makes things a lot easier. Well, these guys are so strong at the Masters level. And they're just big, massive guys at any weight. And you're just like, if you're not doing things outside of jiu-jitsu to make yourself better, you're just going to have a hard time.
That was something I talked to my life coach about, because we have to set goals. It's like, my goal is to get better at jiu-jitsu. But it's like, well, what gets you better at jiu-jitsu? It's like, well, not just stuff on the mat. It's like, away from the mat, how are you eating? Are you working out? How are you sleeping? Because that was one thing I told her at one of my sessions. I was like, well, look, by the time I see you next month, my goal is to have, because I sleep like 4 hours a night.
Yeah, my sleeping's terrible.
Terrible. Well, my wife works nights, so when she's not home, I'm tossing and turning. I'm waking up. I'm just pacing. I can't sleep. So it's like, look, my goal is to get at least 6 by the time I come here next month, and up that. And then it's like, okay, now let's look at eating. Let's start eating better. Let's like junk food. So it's like, as we, continue to train, whether you're competing or not, like I said, you want to still be helpful to the other teammates. So it's like, if I'm eating like shit and I come in to train with you, I'm like, oh man, I can't.
But it's like that in life too. I mean, if you want that job that you want, what are you doing on the outside, and what are you sacrificing on the outside to make, to get that promotion? Yeah, and I think, the jiu-jitsu training and all that, there's a lot of similarities to life. If I want that next belt, I better hit the weight room. I better come in extra hours, And if you want that promotion, you better volunteer for the extra hours, even if you're not getting paid. And even like jiu-jitsu, even if you do all the work, you may lose and you may not get that promotion. And, and that's a terrible feeling.
I think there's something to that though too, because even if you don't get the promotion, you don't get the win, you're putting in the work and you're seeing the progress, at least getting closer.
You're getting better at whatever your craft is, whatever it is. And that's just that time, right? The next promotion's always out there. Or another job opportunity that maybe you find. So I think there's just a lot of similarities there that I can apply to life. And, you hear all these speeches that Coach Keith will give or Master Jay, and you're like, man, that's the same way if you want to get that CEO spot. I mean, how much are you willing to sacrifice to earn that goal? And I think a lot of people, like Coach Keith said the other day, 3% are willing to do what it takes to achieve the goal. And are you going to be that 3% that's willing to sacrifice birthdays, wife's birthdays, anniversaries? Not many people are willing to do that.
I think it's also understanding what that sacrifice is and what those things are, because you could say, yeah, I'm willing to make those sacrifices, and you're doing things that you think are, getting you closer. And it's like, no, that's just kind of like a look.
Yep.
Whereas like you say, like coming in to train on anniversaries, on birthdays, if there's open mat on, 4th of July, you're like, wow, we got a cookout though.
Those are tough choices. Those are definitely tough choices. And if it's before Masters Worlds, I'm going to train. If it's after Masters Worlds, I'm probably going to go to the cookout.
Well, also too, when you think about it, it's like, well, what time's the cookout start? What time's open mat at? It's like,
what can I work out here? Yeah, and there's a lot of people that can't make that sacrifice or don't want to make that sacrifice. And then when they don't achieve their goal, they look to point the finger at what it was. Whatever that might be. They didn't put down the alcohol. They didn't do this, but they rarely point to themselves. They were like, well, my wife made me go to this stuff. And you're like, no, you chose to go to this stuff.
I had to go to the symphony.
Yeah.
It's like, you had to go? I don't think, no, you didn't have to go to the symphony.
Yeah. I think it's hard to make those choices. My wife has definitely sacrificed for me to do this. I've missed birthdays and, we've always made them. She's always been good. To let me chase this, I don't know if it's not even a dream, but it's just a good hobby. Yeah. It's just a very passionate hobby. And I've managed to find a sport that I like to keep me in good shape and exercise. I turned that into a hobby and eventually made it a job. And now I'm easily putting in 20, 25 hours a week between weights and, drilling and thinking about it, and easily a part-time job. And that's the hard part.
Well, that's, like we were saying earlier though, with like, the stuff you do off the mat to contribute to what you're doing on the mat. A lot of folks don't even look at it that way either. Like, again, we look at lifting weights. People think, oh, lift weights, I'm going to get strong. But it's like, again, you're not going to lose the weight, to make it to certain weight class if you're not paying attention to what you're doing in the kitchen too.
Yep.
Like what you're putting in
diet,
your body.
The diet is so important. And I'm terrible with my diet. Sleep and diet are my worst ones. And I don't have a dietitian. I don't have anyone tell me what to do. I just try to watch the calories and the bad sugars, honestly. And if I watch that stuff, I do pretty well. But some people don't have it that easy a time with it, and they have to be a little more disciplined. And maybe I'm lucky there as well.
I have the issue where it's one or the other. Either I'm sleeping well and eating horrible, or eating well and sleeping terrible. And
do you find yourself sleeping better when you're eating well?
I do, but what ends up happening, I have a horrible sweet tooth. It's like, and I love Reese cups, despite having
Twix
a peanut.
Twix bars for me, so good.
So I don't put me on Twix, because like I got away from Twix many years ago, and now I see Twix, I'm just like, ugh. But I see
impossible.
I don't know. It's just I see Twix and I'm just like not interested. But I see Reese cups, and now they got the 6-pack now, and I'm like, oh, 6 now versus 4. Because when they went to 4 from 2, I was like,
you gotta get the Quake Reese cups. They're like dark chocolate and the artificial sugars are in there, but at least it's 1 gram of sugar, and they are methadone for Reese's cups addicts.
So I tried those, and I didn't hate them. The only thing that
crack addicts don't hate methadone either, but they prefer the real stuff.
Well, that was the problem. I was like, this isn't bad, but it also wasn't if I go to the gas station, I was like, oh, there's some Reese cups right here. It's just super convenient. Just like crackheads. Like if you're in Detroit, it's going to be super convenient to just walk outside and there's some crack.
Yeah.
But there's not going to be methadone just conveniently sitting on the corner. So, you walk out, you grab it, and you're like, this feels good. But like I'll inhale Reese cups like it's nothing, and that's the problem. They're everywhere. But I also try to do a good job at just not going into convenience stores, not going into gas stations. So I was like, okay, cool. We're getting the eating under control. I come home, I have a piece of fruit. I hop on the treadmill, throw the kettlebells around. I'm like, yes, I'm doing good. And then at night, like I'm wired now. I'm like, I'm amped up. All right. Like,
what's helped my diet out a little bit? My daughter went to college.
Oh.
Now I've got a son who's 13, and but he doesn't. I mean, he has a sweet tooth. Don't get me wrong, but he's not demanding that I bring these things home from the store every day. But my daughter was like, "Get this, get that, get that," and of course, if it's in there, I'm going to eat it. Yeah. Now I'm going through the store, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't need to bring that bag of chips home. I don't need the Funyuns now." I'm like,
So I get caught on a sale, right? If I see like butterscotch crimpets, 2 boxes for $6. I'm like, well,
I mean, 4 boxes.
Like, who am I to turn this down?
Yeah.
And then I stash them down. Like, I have these totes over here that I try to like put like my workout gear in and like podcasting equipment. I got an empty one. I was like, just throw some cupcakes in here.
Who's going to know?
Yeah, no one knows.
Yeah.
And then, I'm after I get off the treadmill, I drink some water, towel off. I'm like, whew.
That's big guy math. If no one knows, it didn't happen.
Well, that's how I do it on Sundays.
Big guy math.
Sundays, I'll eat a whole pizza. It's like, oh, these are Lord's calories. These don't count.
Yeah, I try to like. I'll go to what's that pizza place? They do like cauliflower crust. I'll try and cheat my way through that. If I'm going to eat pizza, I try and eat as healthy as I can, I guess.
I just get smaller pizzas.
Yeah, I don't know. I get so hungry though.
So we got a medium pizza last night, and I don't know. I felt like it was the worst choice I ever made, because I was like, okay, I mean, it's smaller. I'm not gonna eat a whole bunch. I ended up eating. I was like, this is good, and I was like, fuck, I want more.
The diet's definitely the hard part. It's definitely the hard part, especially as you get older.
Yeah.
I think back when I was younger, I didn't have any money, and but I could eat 2 chili cheese dogs, and it didn't affect my weight.
Yeah.
Now I eat that, and I'm going to balloon 3 pounds.
It's weird, because it's like, again, we look at like those old days where like the metabolism is going crazy. We can eat whatever we want, and you think when you're younger it'll never go away, and then once you get older, It's like, huh. But I think we can like we regain it though. Like if you're like working out pretty consistently, you can do well. Like my buddy, he's on this thing right now. He's like, I want to get down to 12% body fat. And he's like, I calculated my day. We went out to watch the games last week. He was like, I calculated my day to come out here and eat 30 wings and drink 4 beers. I was like, all right, man, whatever. Like you did your math, and he was fine. He was like, okay. But I think it's like working out like consistently, but also just we're smarter. Like when we're younger, we just eat shit and be like.
There was a guy that wanted to test the calories in, calories out, and I can't remember his name, but he literally, his diet was Oreo cookies, Doritos, candy, but he limited himself to 1,600 calories a day.
Okay. Yeah.
And he did it over 4 months. All his blood sugar went down. He lost 27 pounds, and he basically proved. And I'm not saying it's a healthy diet, but he did prove that as long as you're watching those calories, you can still achieve goals. So you can break your diet. It doesn't have to be so clean every time. And I've never believed that, but it's the people that keep the 2,000 calories and then throw on the 600 more of candy and treats. But if you're going to be on a diet and you need to break it, just watch those calories. And, and of course, I'm not an expert. Talk to a dietitian, please. But that's what I try and do. Like, I just try and keep those calories down. If I'm going to break, I'm like, you know what? I've already had 400 calories. I guess I'm just not going to have that steak tonight,
That's, I have a buddy who, he and his wife, they, like, whenever I see them at any gatherings, like we did something on 4th of July, he was all in. He was just eating. And I saw his wife. She grabbed a burger. She's just eating the burger, no bun. Like, she's super strict. She has, I think, a YouTube or a Twitch or one of those channels. Mm-hmm. And, people tune in and watch, like, her fitness stuff. And I was talking to him.
I'm sure it's the fitness stuff.
Absolutely. Of course it is. Like I'm terrified of her in a weird way where it's like, please bench press me. Just, like, how many reps? I've lost some. I lost some weight. Just tell me. But I asked him, like, what do you do? And he was like, look, I don't count macros. I just count my calories. I just make sure I don't go over this number, and I work out, and I bust my ass. I was like, that makes sense. But if you're super disciplined about it, that works. But if you're like Dante, where I'm like, okay, I'm at 18 right now. I still got a little room, and that little room turns into a Red Bull, which is 160. Yeah. It's like, oh, you're getting super close. Yeah. And then you don't realize you just had a Reese cup, which now puts you
100
over.
calories. Yep.
And then and it just, once you start doing that consistently, you fucking fell off the wagon. It's all destroyed. And then you're like, well, why can't I get it together? Well, because you're not disciplined. Get it together.
Discipline is hard. It is hard. Yeah. The body screams for it, and you got to be able to deny it. And it takes weeks, months for the body to kick those habits and establish new habits.
I've been trying to fast the last 2 weeks.
I've heard some good things about that. I don't think I could do it.
So I've been doing kind of the cheat one where it's like 12 hours. So 8 o'clock I stop. Mm-hmm. Don't eat anything. And then 8 o'clock in the morning I can get back to it, and my day doesn't really start until 8. So that's when I'm like, oh, I can get away with this.
What is it? Michael Musumeci eats once a day, like 2,000-3,000 calories.
I can't do that.
I can't do that. It would kill me.
No, that's not reasonable to me. But between that 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and usually I stop about 7 because I work out. I eat dinner at about 6:30. And it's like, okay, I'm not hungry and move on with my day. But there are some times if I'm up too late, if I'm up at midnight, it's just
it's very hard. Very hard.
And even if I'm thinking, it's like, dude, I know there's an apple downstairs. There's some grapes downstairs.
Yeah, when I'm trying to drop weight, cut weight, whatever the phrase is, whatever I'm at, and I can't afford to eat at night, I try to just go to bed early. Just pop some melatonin, try to go to bed early, and say, as soon as I get up, I can eat.
I've been at least these last 2 weeks, if it's like 10 o'clock and I'm antsy, we'll just have some ice water. Mm-hmm. Like, and not even a lot because then I got to pee later on, but like I'll have like maybe half a bottle like really cold water and that tends to help me a little bit. And
It
then
fills the belly up.
and then also I get distracted. Like I'm always doing notes and outlines and stuff for these podcasts. So I'm like, okay, just don't think about.
Well, as
food.
you eat all this candy, you're eating a lot of sodium too, which is causing some water retention there. So if you drink more water, pee that all out, you're going to lose a little weight there too.
Yeah.
So, but again, I'm no expert, so don't listen to me. But these are the things I think about when I'm trying to, make weight for a competition that's coming up.
Yeah. Like anyone listening, again, we're not experts.
Yeah, we are idiots.
But if you take our advice and it works, you're welcome. If it doesn't work, you're so fucking.
Just talk to a
so
dietitian.
dumb.
They will help you out. They will. Most of those dietitians will take insurance. So
yeah, true. So going back to when you started competing here with 88/Ivy League at the time, had you competed before?
No. I mean, I competed when I was playing football in college.
Well,
I was a long snapper, but that was my early 20s.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were a long snapper.
I
I knew you played football, but
I was an outside linebacker, and long snap was my primary job.
So linebacker was something I was like, I feel like you play defense because like we'll talk and there's certain lingo you use. I'm like, oh, defense.
Yeah,
like, there's a defensive
probably,
player there.
yeah.
But like long snapper, I didn't know. I was a long snapper for a flag football team, like just emergency. Like we need somebody.
Yeah, that's how I got started in it as well.
Yeah.
We had one guy, and then he broke his leg. The starter broke his leg, and then it was all me for that. What? I think we had, how many games did we play that year? 10, 11? It was UTL Pass. It was way before the playoffs, and so it was
probably about
we're talking
11.
like the mid 90s.
Oh, then it was definitely.
I think it was 11,
10 or
11. And he broke his leg, and we were that team that snapped 10 punts. Punted 10 times a game. So I had like 70 punts that year.
I mean,
we were not a good football team.
You got your practice.
Yeah, I got lots of practice. But I think that helps too. All that stuff was stressful, and people. The biggest thing some of the questions I get is, how do you get over these, these tensions and butterflies, and going into these tournaments, and my life's just been packed of stressful situations. Our first snap was against Air Force. On our 4-yard line. I mean, that's a lot of stress.
Yeah. Like inside your own 5 is a nightmare because you fuck up.
Yeah. So for me, it was very easy to get over some of the apprehension of competing. And I think that's why I do it now, because I don't suffer from that. Like a lot of people don't compete because they just can't handle the overwhelming I don't even know I can't think of the right word. The stress and the worry,
the nerves,
the anxiety, and I think just being in the Navy as an officer, constantly being in spots where it was my job or succeed. So it's not a big deal for me to go out there and compete either. Cool. It's been fairly easy.
I know back at the old Ivy League location, we used to do mock matches.
Yep.
And I always thought that was super helpful, and I enjoy.
Even now, I do those, and I'm like, I get amped up. You're like, you can't help those fights of the day. It's weird how it puts that stress on you.
I thought going into my first competition, I wouldn't have nerves because, like playing football, I was like, this felt right. Playing basketball, it felt right, and then I got out there, and I was like, oh shit!
My first one, I got tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Like my arms are stressed out, my heart is beating through my chest, and I was just like, I need to calm down. And it took me about 3 competitions, and it took about 3 or 4, and I felt okay.
Yeah, it's like, I think off that first one for me, I was like, because I didn't expect it, so I didn't know how to manage it.
I was the same way. I was the same way.
Why do I feel this way? And I couldn't open my water. Like Naomi was there, and I'm like,
shaking.
I was like, can you please open this? And then afterward, I was like, well, I have another match.
Yeah, and a lot of people can't handle that, and they don't want to go through that. And I put my daughter into jiu-jitsu, and I think that has helped her. It gave her a ton of confidence. And my wife did it, and she was going, and I told her, I was like, you're going to be fine. When she was interviewing for her teaching job, I told her, I was like, you're going to be fine. You're going to understand that the nerves you're going to face at this interview are the exact same nerves you had going into a jiu-jitsu competition match. And she's like, no. And I was like, I'm telling you, they're just the exact same. And sure enough, she went in there, and it was the same anxiety, the same worries, the anxiousness. And she's like, I'm okay. I've experienced this and I can deal with this. And so I think just competing, I think just competing overall, was wrestling or judo or karate or jiu-jitsu, I think that just helps you in life. There's just so much jiu-jitsu has helped me out in life. Like, I don't sweat anything. Like, when you can beat up everybody in the room, nothing really scares you.
That's actually the logic I always tell my buddies. Like, I walk into a room not with the idea that I'm going to fight anyone, but I'm not worried about anyone beating me up. Because the way I look at it is, there's a high chance that if you can beat me up, there's a good chance you're not going to be judging me and picking. You're not going to be a dick.
Yep.
You're going to be cool. But if I walk in and you're being a jerk and you're being it's like, you've got some issues on your own, and you probably can't beat nobody in here, but you want to like break people down. So I'll probably beat your ass.
And my daughter was the same way. She was timid, got picked on all the time. And I told my wife, get her into jiu-jitsu, and she did. And I think just walking into a room, knowing that you can fight and knowing that you are not scared, you walk around differently. Your head's a little taller, your back's a little straighter. And I think it gives off an aura that people are like, they're cool. I'm not going to pick on that person. Not because they're scared of you. I don't think that's it. But you just don't walk around like you can be picked on.
Yeah, you don't give off like, you'll take it. Like,
exactly.
If they start picking on you, you're gonna, retort.
Yeah,
like,
there's just people walking around with their heads down and looking meek, and people that do combat sports do not walk around like that. And I think people just, they look at them and they just say, I'll find someone else.
Yeah. I mean, even with that though, sometimes like knowing that you're there, they tend to not even do that now, because there's like, let me just be cool. And in most situations, I think there was one time at a party with friends, one person was trying to like poke the bear. It was this was when I was like, I might have been training for 2 months. And it was like, we're watching the UFC, and he's like, oh, this shit is so dumb. All they're doing is like dry humping on the floor. And like, Dante, you're dumb for doing this. And I was like, like maybe, like, and I didn't even sweat it. I didn't say something like, well, let's go out back.
Yeah.
It was like, because in my mind, even though like I know more than you know, there's still like, I'm aware, like, there's still this chance that, he could catch me. And
of course.
Then I look dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why do that? Let's just sit here, watch these fights, and you can keep talking, but you look silly.
Yeah.
Like I'm just watching and giving short answers, and
I can't imagine anyone wanting to, you're like the nicest guy ever.
I try to be. I used to be really mean, actually.
Really? I can't imagine anyone being like, oh, I hate that guy.
Well, no, I think there's always like people like wanted like be cool with me, and there was a certain point in my life where I was just a really, really angry person. I was always very mean, and like,
really,
I was a bully. And there was a point where it just clicked. I was like, you can't keep doing this, like, because it's exhausting being like that.
No, I can only imagine.
So,
because I was bullied, I grew up with no front teeth, so I was bullied quite a bit when I was a kid.
Well, and that was the thing too. I think part of it for me was I was bullied. So, like, I've been this height since 5th grade. So once I realized I was bigger than everyone, I was like, oh, I can fuck y'all up. So I would start pushing kids around and like being mean. And then eventually I realized, like, first off, I stopped growing.
Yeah. And they all start catching up.
Like, they started getting bigger, but it still didn't take that, like, that, chihuahua out of me. Like, I'm still barking at people. But one day it was just like, dude, this is exhausting. Like, I'm so tired from being angry all the time. And also, nobody wants to play. Nobody wants to be my friend now. So, but then I went far to the other side. I became super duper nice to the point where people were like, oh, we can get this guy now.
Yeah.
I was like, well, no, I'm nice, but I will still like body slam you. And then once I started training, then it just became like super like just.
What made you start?
What's it?
What made you start training?
A couple different, like, I guess it was a combination of things. I've been watching UFC on and off since like, I want to say 95. And then 05, where the big boom happened, I really got back into it like most folks. And I was like, okay, I'm seeing these things. I want to understand these things. And then it just became like, a question of, do I want to put myself out there? Because like most people, you see that is scary. And then 2015, I was just like, you know what, let's just jump in. I worked out a lot.
You've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah. Still a blue belt. Something to be said about that. Actually, I will say there was one thing after, I think.
Does that bother you?
Nah.
No? I know some people, because especially me, I mean, I spent 2 years at blue, 20 months at purple, and now I'm 2 years at brown. We'll see if I make black this year.
I think.
But I don't know. I can't imagine being at the same belt for 10 years.
If I train consistently, yes. But I've been on and off. Right now, I'm probably the most consistent I've been since, like, I think, was it 2016? I was going a lot.
Yeah.
2017, in that pocket, I was going a lot. And then kind of, teetered off a little bit. And now, at least I'm going, Friday, Saturday, I'm getting in there, coming there now, Sundays every so often, drill. Now we got the Monday, Wednesday, and Sarah, my wife, Sarah, she is, as soon as they announced that Monday, Wednesday class, I was like, yes. And she was like, oh, I'm going back to DC for work, so I got to leave by like 7:30. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, you suck.
So, but now she's in Baltimore.
Okay.
With a different family. And now she doesn't have to be there until 10, so she doesn't have to leave until like 9.
So you get some extra time to train.
So that starts tomorrow. I'm excited.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good. Yeah.
But
I can imagine. I've always tried to balance it down to not years but hours. And I spent, when I was in my blue belt, I think I can't remember. I actually calculated it out. It was like 2.5 years at blue, and it was about, I don't know, 500 hours roughly. And I spent about 1,250 hours to make purple. And then, I wasn't training as much at blue as I did purple. I started going 5, 6, 7 days a week at purple. And of course, we're on the Masters World cycle. So you do well at Masters World, you generally can get promoted.
Yeah.
So, and that helps. That took me to, because my first run at purple, I didn't do. I don't know why. I just didn't want. I think I just didn't want to compete. And then the second year at purple, went right into Masters World and gold and silvered there, and picked up brown. And then brown, I just gooned up Masters. I mean, double gold Pans, double gold Europe, and then go out first round at Masters World. And my first year was a little depressing. So this year a little better.
Well, yeah. Was it would you just have Masters Worlds?
Yeah, we just did that one.
So yeah, remember, I always hear the competitions because obviously we announce it and they're like, hey, so and so's competing at this time, this time. Check it out on Flow. And it's like, okay, cool. But this time, I didn't hear who's competing.
Well, it's because we didn't do a camp at SP this year. We did our camps at OM and Elkridge. And so there you had Julius teaching SP for the 7 weeks that we were in camp. So you never saw the competitors at SP that whole time, because it was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I think, were the camps. And that was, or was it Monday? I can't remember the camp days. I just remember it was OM. That's right. Tuesday was Elkridge, and then Wednesday was camp day at OM. Thursday was just a normal class day, no camp day. And then Saturday was the Elkridge class day. So you never really saw, a big push because SP wasn't, no one wanted to travel to SP for the camp days. It's just far for those Baltimore guys.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird path to SP from Baltimore and then out.
But it's such a good place to train. There's so like OM right now. They don't have a lot of the gi, especially on the gi days. They don't have a whole lot of people there. Like unlike SP, I mean, we got and on those no-gi days, we get close to 40 people in there. And on the gi days, even in the advanced class, you're still hitting 20 plus. Yeah. And that's just a lot of people to train with. It's great.
I went to the Monday gi class last Monday. That was the first one.
I don't know anything about those.
So it was really low, but they're like, whoa, where'd everybody go? And I thought the numbers were still fine. It was like, I think we're just into the double digits. It was like, yo,
But it also just started off, and a lot of people don't know. And I know CH wanted to go, but he had some issues getting there.
I think they said like the week before they had big numbers. And I was like, it could just be, whatever. Life happens.
Yep.
But yeah, like a lot of times whenever I'm thinking about, I used to go to Keith's Wednesday class at Elk Ridge Wednesday mornings, just with work schedule. That's what was available to me. And those were 90 minutes. And it always felt like, competition class. It always felt like a grind. Yeah. And I was really gaining from that. But then I think there's a certain point with my body where I was just like, I know I'm gaining from this, but
it's hard. It's hard.
And then this was only once a week. And my body just felt like, you're going through the ringer right now. So there was one thing you said to me, and though you weren't aware, I felt like it was a dick move. You didn't make it a dick move on purpose. You're like, come on, Dante, you got to get purple before I get my brown.
Did I say that?
And then you got your brown the very next week. I was like, dude, like, come on.
That might have been unfair. Well, I got my brown I was put on brown at Masters World. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It's hard. The thing is, I agree with Coach Keith. You do not have to compete to get better, but you do need to train like you're competing.
Yes.
If you can be a casual, and if you're just going to train as a casual, it's going to be tough to make those weight cuts unless you're at one of those schools that will give you the belt with time in, and there's plenty of those out there. But 88, you have to train like you're going to compete to truly achieve whatever goal you have, whether that's the next belt or just get a little bit better or just lose some weight, whatever that goal is.
Yeah, I always feel like if you're not competing at 88, especially if you're not competing, you have to at least, when you get in there with the competition guys, you have to be able to at least keep pace with them.
Yes. Well, I think that's their gauge, right? I mean, they used to say you don't have to compete to promote, but someone has to.
Yes.
Someone has to go out there, put their body on the line, and perform at some level so that when they come back in the classroom and you're rolling against them, like, oh, this guy just mopped up this dude that won Masters Worlds, so he must be pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So, and that definitely, I think, helps.
Yeah. It's a good gauge, I think. And I always think about that, when I get out there, I'm like, okay, who am I going up against? No matter who, like if I'm out there with Mark, and I'm like, okay, like in the gi, I have a lot more fun with Mark. It's not in the gi. I think I
feel like sometimes he doesn't go, like I've seen him there's times I'll get him and then I've seen him go like amp it up and go crazy. And I'm like, okay, finally I got competition Mark now, but in the no gi, he seems to be more relaxed and more comfortable with it.
Yeah. No gi, I feel like I have a little bit more fun, and there's more opportunities. In gi, it's like
I feel like I feel like he doesn't take it quite. I don't know if serious is the right word. He's just not as engaged. I don't know what the right word is, but he's definitely not in it like he is in no gi.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's not that even like going no gi that it's like, oh, this is the easy round or he's a pusher.
No, they're both hard rounds, and that's what makes me mad because the guy he's like going through the motion sometimes. I feel like in gi, and I'm like, hot damn, this guy's still freaking hard.
Yeah, I mean, there are times in gi sometimes where it's like I just have to lay on them. I was like, look, I know that I'm not going to get what I want, and I know if I move, you're going to get what you need. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to lay here and kind of slowly work my way up.
Well, he's a young guy, too. I mean, what is he, 34, 36? He's like... he's maybe,
approaching 40.
I think he's Master 2 now, so I think he's in his, 35 to 40 range?
Yeah, he's getting there.
And, I mean, that's 20 years younger than me, so that's not easy, for me at least.
It's not easy for me.
And I tell you, these younger guys, and, I try to do every 10 years a belt, but... 40-year-old purples, you get down to 30-year-old purples, oh, they're so hard. Yeah. So hard. And then you get these kids like Christian, 25-year-old blue belts that just move and don't stop moving. They're hard too.
I always try to remind myself when I go in and I get just like mopped by like one of the younger guys. It's like, all right. It's like in terms of like energy, all right, you got me. And there's always wisdom. There's dad strength. There are things that you can do that's going to at least kind of keep them at bay. But remember, I come back, and I was at one of Keith's classes, and I went up with Elvis.
Oh, Elvis is impossible.
And Elvis beat the hell out of me. And I sit down.
Well, he's
like,
in his 20s, and he's like 5% body fat. What are you going to do?
If I would have known that, I would have at least had a plan. Like maybe just, I don't know, something.
Yeah.
But like, and I don't normally like take a round off. This was one like after I was like, I sat down and Keith goes, "Don't beat yourself up. That's a D1 athlete."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Eh, okay."
Yeah.
And it didn't make me feel that much better, but at least it let me know, it's like, well, I'm not a D1 athlete, but I also didn't feel like, oh, that's an excuse. It was just more like, okay, well, I have to like kind of not match him because I'm not going to, but it's like I have to kind of lead him.
You have to find an answer, yeah.
Yeah, I have to
now I
lead him a
remember
different
when
direction.
I'm doing stand-up, and I'm sitting there, and we shake our hands, and I'm ready for him, and he moves. And I don't even register him moving until he's already on the double leg on me, and I haven't even reacted yet. My reaction was like to look down. Like he moved so fast, my old eyes and reaction was just not fast enough to see it and react to it, and now I'm on the ground. I'm like, this is just unfair.
Someone did. I think maybe it was Hugh. Yeah, it was
Hugh's very quick.
That Friday night no-gi class a couple weeks
Mike?
back. Well, no, I think you were coaching, and Hugh, like, because even you pointed it out, you're like, oh, he moved before you could even notice that he moved, and I was like, yeah.
It's very frustrating, especially with these guys. And they're just so fast, and the reaction time. I try and do these reaction times on the internet. You know, you push the red button, and
I think at this point I just don't even. Again, just depending on who I'm going against, is like, look, I know these are your advantages. I just gotta not focus on your advantage and worry about what I know I can do.
Small guys, you just got to grab them, hold them down, and like you said, use weight and just do your best.
Well, yeah, especially if I get one of the little guys, I remind them as I'm squashing. I was like, "You gonna carry all 200 right now?" Because
I was telling Dave Z today, I was
work.
like, "If you're willing to use half your speed, I will use half my strength." And he didn't want to do that, so
well, I mean,
okay.
That's all right. Fair is fair. Now you're going to get it all. Sucks to be you, because I think that I'm stronger than you are faster than me.
Yeah.
Because once I get a hold of you, you've got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Like you can move as fast as you want and still get a hold, but I'm still stronger. Such is life. Oh, I clear my throat there. What did I eat? I didn't have any candy when I came home.
That's good. I did. I had Twix bars.
I have the Halloween Reese. The pumpkin ones, and I did not get one. I came home.
Oh, you still got, 6 hours of the day left?
Oh no, I didn't say I'm not going to have one. I just I didn't have one yet. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like why? Like am I not drinking enough water? I don't know. But since getting here and then starting to compete, transitioning from blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, what has been like the biggest technical leap for you? On the mats.
Oh, man, I don't even know. I haven't even thought about that. So for a long time, I was a closed guard pull guy. Pull, closed guard, and sweeps, chokes, things like that. And then I went out first round in 23 Masters World. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing no closed guard no more. I'm going to be a takedown guy. And that's what I did. Worked on my takedowns, and this past season, all takedowns. And I think I lost. Technically, I think I lost once at this year's Masters Worlds. I lost in the Open to a half guard guy, but my groin was shot. I heard it in the vision, and I just couldn't move the leg. So I still lost, but I mean, with an asterisk there, I'll take that. I'd like to have that fight back. But if I hadn't lost that first round in 23, I would not have been a takedown guy at all. And I'd probably still be playing closed guard. I'd still be, very one-sided. Pull, closed guard, and now this year, I feel like I need to work on that open guard now. So, all right, I've got my closed guard game down as a complete jiu-jitsu guy. I've got my takedowns. I mean, they could always be better, of course. I'm hardly a black belt in judo or anything like that. And now I just need to win it using open guard. And I can say I've won it using closed. I've won it with a takedown game plan. And now I need to try and win it with an open guard kind of mindset. So I don't think there's been any technical leaps. Well, I mean, I guess there have been, but I mean, I never went into it trying to, I'm going to be better at this. I just tried to get at it and be better every day. But the technical leaps have all been to a loss. Like, you know, like people will say, you know, a loss is not always a bad thing. It helped me be better at takedowns. It helped me better at passing. My passing's greatly improved since I've started doing takedowns, because generally guys will pull on you and then you have to pass that problem. Yeah. And now we'll see how, you know, working open guard, collar sleeve, things like that. It's going rough right now, but we're just early in, we're not even in the season yet. So, I think that's just where my technical leaps have been, just changing that game plan and trying to accomplish the same goals with different strategies. And I think that's what's helped me grow, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. Like, just the way that you're even explaining, it's like everything that you're doing is like, once you've gotten something here, it's like, all right, this is good. You know, you don't want to stay in one pocket forever. Yeah,
it's like a video game. Like, okay, I beat the game as a magician. Now let's try and do it as a rogue. Yeah. And I think that's how I'm going to try and approach it. Just as I succeed or fail, then I'll say, okay, well, you know, the rogue didn't work out well for me, but I know it. Now let's try as an archer and see how that goes.
That's how I played Diablo.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess I try to right now. It's how I'm approaching jiu-jitsu and tournaments, and you know, now I'm going to click the open guard class and see how it goes.
I usually I set my goals based on what I'm trying to keep someone from doing in the gym, specifically CH.
Yeah.
So, hope he doesn't hear this, because.
Sure, he doesn't listen, right? I'll convince him to. Don't worry.
I'm trying to. We talked about him coming on. We're just trying to negotiate a time for him to come on. So it's like, I usually tell people, go listen to like 1 or 2 episodes. So I'm like, don't listen to Epps' episode though. It's super boring. I fell asleep while recording. Just don't listen to it at all. But whenever I go with CH, I always look at like, what can I take away from him? And he can have all the other stuff, but I have to take this one thing away. And then the next week I was like, I got to take this other thing. Yeah. And that last thing. But also with that, what can I add to my own thing to frustrate him? Like, and even if it's not even like getting a submission or anything, just getting a pass or getting to his back, or at least like, you know, making him have to change his direction. Mm-hmm. I was like, and that's kind of how I look at my build. And then that translates obviously to other grapplers in the gym. Except for the small guys, and it's just like, I gotta pick this little dude up and just like little tendons.
I try to, like, my nemesis is Baird, and you know, just big strong guy. Yeah. And trying to find answers around him, and I found those answers. And then, you know, he does a lot of privates with Keith. He gets solutions to those answers, which forces me to come up with new solutions to the problem. So I definitely kind of feel what you're trying to do there, and that can be difficult. I don't like focusing on one guy, but if that's what motivates you, then I say go for it. Whatever is helping you to become better, definitely go that route. I definitely don't use Baird as, well, I'm just going to get better. I use Baird as, I'm going to fight a guy at some point that is big and strong. And what am I going to do to solve this problem? And I think I've dialed that in. Now I just got to get better at doing that. Sure. And once I figure it out, he will find the answers to counter it, and then I'm back at square one. But that's kind of the game.
Yeah, it's just that's how we keep going.
Because I promise you, if you're getting CH in something, he's going to figure it out, and it's only going to be a matter of time before it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, and if he's getting you in something, you figure out how to get out of it. He will now figure out, okay, what did I miss there?
Well, that's what he's very good at. That's what CH's ability I'm going to be good at high ground. And he's going to work high ground until he gets good at it.
Yeah.
And he's not going to focus on anything else. And that is impressive. Like, I can't do that. Like, and just eat the arm bars and eat the chokes that you're going to get stuck in the beginning until you get to a point where you're like, okay, finally, I'm not messing up anymore. And then get to the point where, all right, now I am dominating with this. And then once he's dominating with this, he's like, I'm going to be this guy now.
Like, time to find something new now.
Exactly. His approach to getting technically better is very impressive, and the dedication he focuses on it. And like every day after class, he's drilling. And I'd like to be more like that, but that is definitely hard, at least for me.
Yeah, after our Saturday classes, we'll have the open mat and we'll spar. Mm-hmm. And then even after that, you'll see like Kyle, Devin, CH, and they're all drilling more stuff. I'm just like, oh man, I like my body hurts.
Yeah, it's hard. Like today, I did the 1030 Elk Ridge class, and it's a beat me up class. I mean, It's all takedowns, passing drills, and rounds. And then we get to 1230, and I'm just like, I don't want to move.
Well, and thank you for drilling with me, because I could see it every time you hit the mat and got back up. I was like, oh, this dude is beat the shit right now.
And even at this age, and I'm on a TRT regiment, so I mean, even with that, it's still hard.
Yeah, I mean, the body's taking a beating, regardless. I don't think there's anyone that can go through, a brutal class. And then 10:30 to 11:30, and an hour later show up the drill. And even though it's just like drilling, like it, should be relatively chill, there's just like a cool down, and then like you got to rev back up.
Yeah,
and so much.
I definitely think I get criticized for my drilling from Master J all the time. You got to approach it from a very technical aspect. You have to drill it to a point where it's competition speed. You got to get to that level. You've got to do 3 sets of how many, and you got to do it over and over again. You're not just kind of going through the motions. It's got to be very purposeful, and that's hard to do. And Master J will be the first one to be like, nobody really does that well. No. And my criticism with that is, well, show us how to do drilling better. And that's not really. Jiu-jitsu gyms aren't going to teach you how to drill better. You know what I'm saying? That's stuff you kind of look at on your own. It's kind of your own responsibility to go search that out. The coaches will tell you, well, you need to do 3 reps of the same move, 5 minutes per rep. And then after 3 sets, then maybe you can move on to something similar, but nothing completely different, Yeah. And then you got to do that at a certain speed. Walk, run, or was it crawl, walk, run at some point? But at some point, you got to drill that at competition speed. And that's hard. That's very hard to do.
That's what I think about on those Sunday morning, like drilling open mats. And it's like, as I'm drilling, I'm like, I know in my mind, I was like, all right, I have to, I'll try to go slow because I want to make sure I'm getting my mechanics down. And then even today, I actually was like, I feel like I'm missing something here. And you're like, well, no, it's like in the transition, you dip yourself here. I'm like, oh.
Yep,
okay, because in my mind, I'm like, I feel like I should already be there. I was like, no, you have to get there. So then for me, it's just like, okay, now that I'm drilling this, it's like, nah, I got to move this really slow.
And it does help to drill with someone that kind of knows a little bit, so they can kind of walk you through some of the issues. That's true. Yeah, you get 2 white belts drilling together. How effective is that really going to be? They're just going to continue bad habits possibly. So
cranking arm bars on each other's like, I don't know what went wrong. Well, 2 white belts were drilling together.
I remember Ronnie and I were white belts, and we tried drilling. We got this it was online. I can't remember the guy we were watching, some black belt. Had some complicated, it was just like X-guard kind of stuff, what I'm saying? But we were trying to analyze this, and we're watching the videos, and we're trying to drill it, and it was a mess. It just did not work out. We should have just tried drilling De La Hiva sweeps, instead we're trying this complicated stuff that's we're never going to see at that level, and it was ridiculous. You look back at those days and you're like, why were we doing this complicated stuff? We should have just done closed guard flower sweeps. That would have been so much more helpful.
Yeah, I try to think now. It's like when I'm drilling something, it's like, well, what have we been working on? Like, Like that's what I want to drill. What did I work on yesterday? I want to drill that.
Yeah.
And then even today, as you're working on yours, so I was like, oh, this can kind of correlate with that a little bit to some degree. Let's go here. Versus before, I would come in on a Sunday. Yeah, I think I'm going to work on over under, which isn't hateful, but it's like, are you doing that anywhere else? Are you working on that anywhere else? Like, no.
Yeah, that's why I do OM and SP, because I just need to see it twice. And for the most part, whatever we do on Mondays at OM, we're going to do Tuesdays at SP, and that has really helped me because I see it twice. Generally, just the SP guys, they'll see it once. They'll see it on Tuesday, and they'll see something different on Thursday, and I've seen it twice. And that is, you talk about the technical gains. I think that has been the biggest difference. When I started doing those classes, do the same class twice a week, that has really helped me grow significantly. I just don't have the memory. I don't know if it's my old brain or if it's just, the way I learn. That has really been a huge help for me.
Yeah, that's what I do, like consistently staying with Mahoney's Saturday class now is he's doing that, and we're going to keep coming back to that. Whereas when I was doing Keith's Wednesday class, they had a class on Monday. So I'm missing part of what we're doing on Wednesday every week. So by the time I come back the next week, they've added something else. I'm like, oh, I'm missing parts of this cake.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that makes sense. Just being able to see it twice in a week from one spot to the next, and it all comes together. I've been recording as you all are doing the technique.
Do you actually watch those recordings? I record things, and I'm just terrible about it. And I tell myself, if this is good stuff, I need to watch this and then drill it. And then I don't know why. I just have a hard time going back to it.
I go back to it because I transfer to the computer. So as I move it over there, that's why I sit down and look at it. So like the stuff that we did yesterday, I never got to look at it because I haven't put it to the computer yet. But I usually do that Sunday night, Monday after work stuff. I
feel like that's the next level I need. I really need to start filming myself, watching that stuff afterwards, and actually trying to fix things that I see. I feel like that's the next leap I need to make. So
that's the one thing I stopped doing was filming myself drilling the move. Just because, while we're getting everything set up.
Yeah, mainly just rolling, and I agree with that completely, yeah.
It became frustrating to set the camera back up for the drill and then get it out the way when we come back to look, at the next step. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to record coach, and then I'll record our sparring rounds, and then see what I can gather from that. And I pick up a lot. It's just a matter of now I'm a kinetic learner. I have to physically do it, which is why these Sunday classes drilling sessions is so important, because if I see something on Saturday, it's like,
you've come a long way from I taught that single leg X to X guard transition, and now you're hitting it without any issues.
Yesterday, I actually ended up there. I got there, but the problem was once I got there, I was like, oh shit. Like what do I do from here? Yeah. Well, because it was Jeremy. He was like, this isn't working.
Yeah, and Jeremy's a whole different problem.
Yeah. And I knew that going in. So I was like, I know I'm not going to get this.
And that guy's Master 2, so he's in his mid-30s, and he's competing all the time. And he's the same guy that I'm like, he mops up Baird. And I'm like, how do you do it? Well, I just go around him. Like, it's like when you get to that video game, and you're like, well, just jump. You're like... Yeah. I've tried jumping, man. It doesn't work. What are you talking about?
Seems easy enough, I guess. Well, and he was great in drilling with and helping me and letting me work when needed. But then there are times where it's like, you can tell it's like, all right, I'm not going to let you get this. Yeah. You got to earn it. And I was like, well, I can't earn this. I don't even know this. like you let me work on the stuff I know. Like make me earn that. Yeah. Let me work on.
But that's the thing. You just keep working it, and you're going to eat the mounts, and you're going to eat the knee bars, and then eventually you start eating that stuff a little bit less.
Yeah, there gets to a certain point where you're like, look, I'm sick of getting stuck here. So don't get stuck there. Yeah. Figure out how to get better, or how not to get there, period. So it's all the game. All right. As we're getting closer to wrapping up here, I want to do my rapid fire round with you, because I was like, I have all, like, on my outline, I always have all these questions, like, here, let's go here next. And what I love is with, like, a lot of guests, you all beat me to it. So it's like, oh, perfect. I don't have to even say that. Now I have to ask this question. You beat me to it. This is perfect. You guys are great guests. Then we get to rapid fire. I was like, okay, like, now we can do the like, fun, silly part.
Yeah.
Although it's not necessarily silly. It's just, sometimes
This
I
is
want to
like
know.
one word short answers.
Yeah. It's usually like, gi or no gi.
Probably gi. Although I am going to try and do no gi worlds this year, so we'll see if I like it or not.
I always find, like, as we get older, gi, because we can kind of slow it down.
Slow it down,
Yeah.
especially against these young guys.
Oh, yeah. Like, no gi, it's like, fuck.
Please, not no gi.
I can't grab him. Actually, Devin ankle locked me, was it last week?
Yeah, he's getting really good at those damn ankle locks.
And I'm used to gi. Like, we didn't have our gi tops on. So,
Yeah.
like, let's just go no gi. And I'm used to, like, grabbing the lapel and pulling in. And I reached and grabbed this collar, and I was like, oh, no. He doesn't have on a gi. Oh, shit, I should start tapping now because
Yeah.
that's hurting. Favorite submission?
Probably an armbar from close guard.
Just as long as it's not wrist lock.
Oh, wrist locks make everybody smile, though.
Not me. I came in one Sunday and you were like, hey, come drill with me. And
I
it
remember
was
that. You were
wrist
not
locks.
happy. I remember that.
I didn't come back the next week. It's like, nah, I'm all right.
But then the glory ones are definitely that close guard arm bar. Yeah, I like that one. If you're going to hit one, that's a fun one.
Oh, yeah. What was your toughest tournament match so far?
Probably.
Or not even just match, just toughest tournament, period.
Probably this Masters World was pretty tough. I think I had the hard side of the bracket. Strained my groin on a splits. Yeah, there's Lippincott is his last name, and just a jacked, massive guy that is my weight. And you look at him and you're like, how did this guy make weight? So probably the toughest tournament was probably this Masters Worlds, I think.
Post training, what's your go-to meal?
Go-to meal? And nothing good. I mean, if Chick-fil-A is open, then, Chick-fil-A. I don't know. I don't really focus on that, honestly. Yeah, tough train. I just go home and, I'll pop a factor meal or whatever's available, honestly.
I'd love to hear that because it's not like
I
specific.
don't have a plan, yeah. I should, but I don't.
I think, again, as we get older, it's like we probably should.
Yeah.
But we're like, look, I'm just trying to get nutrients. Whereas the younger folks like, well, look, I usually go home and I measure out this much ground beef.
Yeah,
It's like,
I definitely don't do that.
relax.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm not training for it, I'm not worried about weight, then it'll be like Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, something definitely not bad for me. You know what I crave, though, is like sugary Coke.
Oh,
Yeah, after a hard train, so terrible for you, but it just goes down so nicely.
I had a nutritionist on at the beginning of the year, and like I brought something with. I was like, look, if your body is craving it, don't like.
I
neglect it. Just
rarely
take it.
deny it. I just own it.
Like usually after Saturday class, I go to 7-Eleven up the street, get a 20-ounce Coke, just come home. No, I was like, are you sure you want to be having that? I'm like,
I'm quite sure.
yeah, like
I'll regret it tomorrow, but for now.
like I feel pretty good. Or like we have these sodas up in Michigan, Faygo. So they sell them at the Dollar Tree here now, specifically the Red Pop, which is strawberry. I go every Tuesday, and they're like $1.25 for 4.
Really?
I usually buy
For 4?
so I buy 12, put them in the fridge, and that's what I've been coming home to lately.
They're that good.
Oh, I love them.
Faygo.
Faygo,
All right, well, we'll try this Faygo out.
Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree Faygo.
It's the orange and the red pop. The others are, they're fine.
I'll try them out.
But like I come home to that, and my wife's like, "Are you sure? Diabetes is real." I was like, "Yeah, but so is this."
Not yet.
Like this is delicious though. Your favorite jiu-jitsu memory so far?
Probably getting promoted brown belt on the stage. But I don't know. I still got to make black belt at some point, so maybe that will replace it.
Oh, that's so far.
Yeah.
So, and then for new grapplers coming in as a coach, what are you telling a white belt that just beating themselves up saying they can't get this?
Just keep showing up. That's all you got to do. You know, every white belt will make blue belt if they just keep showing up.
And then last one, this is for competition-wise, specifically masters athletes who are feeling hesitant about getting out there to compete. What would you advise or say to them?
I would just say just get out there. The thing about masters is none of it really matters. It's not adults. We don't get the opportunity to be, memorialized in the Jiu-Jitsu Hall of Fame, IBJJF Hall of Fame. And all these other old guys are in the same boat we are. We've all got kids. We've all got wives that demand our time. And we've all, we're all busy and screaming. And you tend to look across the mat at the other guy and you think that guy has got it all figured out. That guy is training 60 hours a week. He doesn't have a job. No. That guy is freaking probably in the middle of a divorce. That guy probably had an injury 3 weeks ago he's still recovering from. That guy probably has a kid that is, just flat and just cut up all the tires in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So just try not to stress about it. Just go out there and do your best. And if you lose, it's okay because you're not going to die and you're going to be able to get up and work in the morning.
I feel like if the guy across from me is going through a divorce and his kid's cutting up tires in the neighborhood, I probably don't want to go through that.
Probably not. He may be a little angsty. I agree with you. But the problem is everyone's got the same problems you do. They're just at different levels. But none of these guys are scary. Some of them have more time to train and more time to lift weights. That's definitely where I'm at. I definitely have more time to train and lift than a lot of these guys my age. But that's probably the only advantage they've probably got on you.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So just go out there and just do your best. And honestly, when I'm out there, it's one big social club. I've run into these guys. One's an alligator wrestler out of Florida, I think. And we just hang out and chit chat and talk about this and that. And it's not the same as the adults where they just hate each other. How dare you get on this mat? I will kill you because you deserve to die. The old guys are like, hey, man, let's go do this and show them how old guys roll. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And if it comes to those nerves, you got to find that way. Like me being friendly with everybody kind of helps me relax a little bit because if I can be friendly with them, then it's just another role in the room. But
Sure.
Maybe that's not for you. Definitely some coaches are like, that's crazy. You need to go out there and kill that guy. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah. I just try to get a laugh. If I can get one laugh, if I can get a smirk, I feel like, you know what? Maybe they ain't all that bad after all.
Yeah, the guys have had look at those gladiators back in the Roman days. Damn, they got swords put in their chest. It's not going to be that bad, I promise you.
True. Maybe I have to keep that in mind.
Can you imagine the anxiety those guys felt? The anxiety that those guys in World War II coming. Go see Saving Private Ryan. Those guys had it worse.
There's definitely the ideal like, hey, I'm probably not going home today. Whereas, we're just competing.
Yeah, we're just competing. It's not that bad.
We're friendly.
It's friendly, and they're not really trying to kill you. And I can tell you, there's a lot of guys that threw me or did something. I remember this one time. I got swept, and I was disappointed in myself. I was like, I can't believe it. And I actually let out like oh, God. And the guy that I was training against, or that I was competing against was like, oh, whoa, you okay? I was like, yeah, keep going. So, even most of the old guys, I've only come across one guy that was kind of a dick. And I haven't seen him since. But other than that, everyone else is generally, they don't want to get hurt, and they really don't want to hurt anybody either. They're going to come at you 100%, but they're not looking to kill you.
Sure.
Not unlike these adults, they're looking to kill you.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but the Masters guys, at least at 50, maybe at 37, maybe the Master 2 guys, Master 3 guys, maybe they want to kill you, but the Master 4, Master 5, 6 guys, they just want to go home and be able to still hang out with their kids without a busted knee.
Yeah.
So I would just say, just go out there and do your best. And none of these guys are going to be that bad. So try not to worry.
I will document that for myself in case I decide.
Yeah, you should get out there.
So the only issue with
IBJJF, you have your issues, and I remember talking to you about that once because they don't let you wear a rash guard.
Yeah, but Huggy actually messaged me and was like, "You can do no-gi." And I was like, "You're right, I could.
You could do no-gi, yeah.
I could, but I really.
But I don't know. You usually wear like several layers. right?
So I have a neoprene.
Yep.
So when I messaged him initially, back when the DC Open was here, I was like, "Hey, can I have an exemption?" He was like, "Wear a neoprene brace. You'll be fine." Like,
For nogi? Okay.
Or no, for gi.
Oh, for gi. Okay.
And I was like, I don't think that would be fine. But and I started doing that in the gym, and the brace slides.
Just not enough, yeah.
Yeah, I sweat, and the brace slides, and then my stomach's exposed, and I don't want that.
Of course.
And then even today when we're drilling, I was really sore because, like you pointed out.
Well, you were doing a lot of like ab work, and some of the moves you were doing were really pulling on that area.
And like I bleed, so like I came home, I was like, ugh. So if I'm like in competition, that neoprene brace comes through, and
Yeah, it could be bad.
so, but
nogi.
no gi, I could, and I wear the brace, and then I have a bandage as well.
Yeah.
So I am pretty well covered, I would say. I think I am at least. So
Maybe you're just a nogi guy at heart.
Mark and I were talking about this the other day. We're like, he was like, most people think, he's a nogi guy. He really
loves
gi.
nogi. Ugh.
And I was like, honestly, people think that I'm a gi guy, and I actually really enjoy no gi.
Well, you're a gi guy because you're old, but don't
Well,
let
yeah.
them define you, man. You want to be a nogi guy? You go do your dream.
Well, I'm only gi because of my schedule.
Yeah.
Like
If you identify nogi, you do that.
hey, that's I'm gonna have that's gonna be a sticker I'm gonna put on my car.
Identify as no-gi.
If you're just like, what the
That would be a great T-shirt.
hey, mark it down. It's
Yeah.
happening. As soon as we're done here, I'm gonna mock it up. I think I still have my Canva subscription for another 4 days.
Yeah, let me know. I might buy one of those.
Like, it's gonna happen. But Coach Brandon, we're all done here, man.
Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me. It was good stuff.
Thank you for doing this. This again, folks have been like, "Yo, you gotta have Epps on. You gotta have Epps on." I was like, "Well, I will. It's just
Hopefully, I added to the conversation.
you absolutely. I gained a lot.
Okay, good.
From this, so I'm certain the listeners will have gained, and also too, like now that we've had this, my big thing is I like doing group episodes, just getting personality. So
Yeah, let me know. I'm always available.
we got you.
Like I said, my schedule's pretty open. Easy job.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I dig it. My job is easy, but the schedule's kind of weird. But
Yeah, I get maybe me, Baird, Jeremy, and Navarro.
so
That might be an interesting conversation there.
I could see that. I could.
Because we fight each other quite a bit in the room.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure.
All competitors, and
I'm pretty sure with Navarro and Jeremy, when they've been on, you've come up in conversation.
yeah. It's,
So-
hopefully in a good way.
I would imagine it was good. It wasn't like, man, Epps is a jerk.
Screw that guy.
It was like, hey, he's going to listen to this. I'm going to tell him specifically, listen to this one. And then anytime I brought up Baird, it goes back to when we were in the Wednesday morning class and he was doing lasso, and his whole foot went in my mouth. And I wasn't okay. For like the next week, I was just like, I have a thing about feet.
I had Jeremy sweat in my ear for 3 days. It was miserable, so I know how you feel.
Let's
Jiu-Jitsu is a nasty thing.
It
It's
is.
a nasty thing, but we do it.
But we keep going back.
Keep going back.
Before we wrap up and get out of here, any shout outs or mentions you'd like to leave our listeners with here today?
Shout outs, mentions. I didn't even prepare, so I don't really have any.
And me as a host, I'm piss poor. I didn't even warn you, hey, get a list.
The only shout outs I would give out is to those casuals out there that are making us better, honestly. The CHs, the U's, even the ones that I can't even think about. Even some of these white belts. I've picked up a lot of stuff from like blue belts, especially these adult blue belts. Mm-hmm. So really it's the guys that aren't competing. Shout out to those guys that show up and make competitors better, because without a solid casual that really funds the gym. I mean, it's the casuals that fund it. There's not that many people competing in a gym. And they're the ones that are keeping the lights on, that allow the coach to come in and help us get better. So I would just say, shout out to those guys that, that don't really get the glory and the medals and all that kind of stuff, because they're the ones that really make the rest of us look good.
Absolutely. Y'all hear that, right? I'm important. So y'all just remember that.
Always.
When y'all listen to my podcast, like, yo, Dante's important. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. And as always, to you guys, the listeners, thank you. Y'all got any questions, concerns, criticisms, feel free to reach out. You can find me at bjj.wiki on Instagram, or Off the Mats Podcast as well on Instagram. I want to shout out Nerd Rage Radio. Bobby Chris, Joe, Marilyn Phil, Ricky Tiki Farrell, all those guys over there. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing a podcast. So thank you to Nerd Rage Radio. They don't let me talk about this shit over there, so I had to do my own thing. Also want to shout out my other podcast, So You Like Horror. If you like scary movies, go check that out. We just did Sleepy Hollow, so that's going to be coming up this Friday. So if you're into that Tim Burton aesthetic, like it's an episode we're going to talk about that. But we also don't really like Tim Burton, so we talk a lot of shit about him too. So if you really like Tim Burton, don't listen, but give it a
tune
shot.
in for good feedback.
Yeah. I mean, constructive criticism.
Yeah, that's it.
And last but not least, I want to give a big shout out here to my teammate and coach. Is that a thing, teammate and coach? Sure. Coach Brandon Epps. Thank you very much for your information, your story, and just a good conversation, man. Thank you.
Glad to participate.
And again, listeners, thank you. We love you. You know what it is. You guys keep listening. We're going to definitely keep making these shows. Thank you, everybody, and goodbye.
They were with it. Now let me sing a song.